For whatever reason, I can't. Where is my picture? Oh, here it is. Hello. Greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected. And good to see y'all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking in. I'm just starting the show. I know it takes people a while to get in here because they don't get the notifications or whatever. But I told you I was going to be here. Anyways, I got to actually, I'm doing a lot of work today. So, much to be done. So the record I'm going to put out is going to release at 8 p.m. tonight. I think I'm going to have a listening party. I'm going to drop a link again. Just go to the link at 8 p.m. when the record releases, and we'll have a listening party, and we're going to see y'all then. But let's get into it. As you know, it's a big ass hurricane time again. And so it seems to be the news that's people are focusing on. I don't know. It's a lot of shoot. Sorry. Things are very slow right here. Maybe because it doesn't feel that hot, but maybe my computer thinks it's hot. I'm not sure. I don't know. Or maybe I have too much going on in my browser. Maybe that's it. Is nobody okay? It's weird because my YouTube says nothing is happening on YouTube, but not really sure. But Milton is big. Milton is large. Milton is coming to Florida. Milton is coming to Rec Shop. What's up, Rockfinners? Some Rockfin people are here. Cool. Denver and William are here. I guess Rockfin is taking their time to pay out on the tips again this month. So again, I want to remind you not to tip on Rockfin because something is going on with them, and I'm not sure. It's been speculation that they're going to be sold. Man, everything is moving real slow on my computer. I think I might have to go get some ice, even though it's just not hot. But maybe my computer is just tired. My computer been working hard. Yeah, I can't tell what's going on with YouTube. YouTube is really unhappy with me and seems to be stepping up the whole like I'm gonna just squash your channel vibe. So it's hard for me to know. It's hard for me to tell what's going on because you know what they're doing. They're doing like they're doing this thing where they make it seem like nobody's watching, but then you can't tell whether it's YouTube doing that or whether people are here or they're not here. I can't, you know, it's really hard for me to discern what's going on. I just keep doing it. The way that I know that people are actually watching or are that people are in the chats and also please like the video so that I kind of get a better idea of like who actually is here or not. It's very difficult to tell. And then I don't know. People seem to not really care about Rumble. Is everything going okay with the stream, guys? I mean, there are people on Rockfin. It sucks that Rockfin is doing weirdness right now because Rockfin is actually has been a mainstay for my channel for a long time, and there are no ads on Rockfin for one thing, so that's cool for the viewer. And because I watch videos on Rockfin all the time, it's cool for me too. I don't want to see ads, but ads are annoying. But Rockfin is kind of one of the cooler channels, but the fact that they're like wigging out is unfortunate. And I've been on Rockfin for a while, for years. Blurry, the stream is blurry. Okay. Oh, I guess it is blurry. Why? Why is it so blurry? Jeez. Rumble is YouTube, right? Is that why nobody likes Rumble? Because Rumble is YouTube. It's weird. I see on Rockfin that the stream is extremely blurry. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I don't know why. So, yeah, I know, Chris. I know I look blurry. I don't know. I don't know why this is happening. Here, I'll try I think it's the stream. It's just really funky. I don't know how to fix it. Oh, the blur is gone. Okay, the blur is gone. Blur is gone away for good. Okay, here we go. Now it's coming in. I see. As soon as we started talking about it. Is that strange? Who knows? Who knows what's going on? All right. So cool. Yeah, Rockfin is a primary go-to for me as well, Denver. I mean, most of the channels I like to watch are on Rockfin, and I prefer to watch things on Rockfin because I'm not supporting corporate oligarchical censorship. So, for whatever reason, sorry about the blur. Who knows? But here's your flood simulation one more time from let's see. Why can't I see this? Here we go. Flood simulation one more time for Milton.
Let's talk more about that surge that Jim was mentioning, because the National Hurricane Center is warning that destructive storm surge will occur along parts of Florida's west coast tomorrow, and that's where we find our surge warnings. They stretch from the Everglades to Cedar Key, but also notice the potential for surge on the east coast of Florida, including Georgia and South Carolina too. You will see surge outside the cone, but the highest is expected in Tampa and Sarasota. But look at that, Naples, we could get 4 to 7 feet there. Let's focus
They're talking about
on
10
the
to
Tampa
15
Bay
feet in
area, where
Sarasota.
we could
Good
see
Lord.
a record-setting
10 to
surge
15 feet
over
in
9
Sarasota.
feet. And I can use this simulation to show you what it will actually look like in Tampa. At 3 feet above normally dry ground, water is already life-threatening. It's too late to evacuate. Water this high can knock you off your feet, make cars float, and driving impossible. The first floor of homes and businesses are flooded. Unfortunately, the water is expected to rise even higher at 6 feet above the height of most people. Vehicles get carried away, structures start to fail. Just look at this. Anything could be in this water, sharp glass, debris, chemicals as well. The scary part is some areas could see surge values at 10 to 15 feet. And this takes us up to 9. And look what it does. At this level, the first floors of structures are completely flooded, and there are few places that it is safe when the water rises this high. We want everyone to know their evacuation zone, listen to local officials, and evacuate when ordered to do so. And Jordan, you made a great point last time. This is not just a calm water. You're going to have waves, even whitecaps on the surge inland.
It's going to be nasty. You could, trying to think that you could walk in it. Please do not think that. All right. This thing will carry you away, especially when we've got the forecast that could go up to 15 feet that Steph talked about.
Okay. Yeah. That's a crazy amount. And right after being whacked, obviously not great. But Milton is now Category 5. Serious intensification has been going on. Here's another interesting video. Difference between a Cat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. More informative videos. Hopefully they're showing up on your screen somewhat clearly. J.A. Moniker says, do not evacuate. That's exactly what they want you to do. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I might have to go get some ice. I'm sorry, guys. It's really, it is supposed to be warm today, but it just doesn't feel all that crazy warm right now in here. But my computer is acting like it's really super hot. Anyways, here's the difference. Sound. No. Hold on. Come on, guys.
To feel it.
Can we get?
Look at the windows of the house. They can be hit from debris from the outside and already start breaking in a Category 2. Your trees are significantly bent over in the wind, and the siding of the house itself can break, flapping there in the wind, adding to those eerie noises inside. Category 3. I've heard only a Category 3, but it's not only anything except really bad news. In a Category 3, you can have the door of the house blown in because the winds get so strong. You can have the roof of the house start to flap up and down in the wind because it can lift off those weak points, and a lot of those trees start to fall. Category 4, the damage is even worse. You get most trees falling, most of your windows breaking, most of your shingles fly away, and then Cat 5 is as high as the category scale goes. By Cat 5, no shingles remain anywhere nearby. The holes in the roof get so big that the walls of the house start to fall because they're not attached to anything anymore. There won't be any trees up in the neighborhood. That's just catastrophic damage. But again, that's just from the wind. And there are other impacts from hurricanes, and they all vary through the season. So stick with the Weather Channel to keep you safe when the tropics head towards your neck of the woods.
All right, there you go. It's supposed to hit tomorrow or tonight? Tonight? Let's see. Just trying to see when it's actually supposed to. Maps show track of Hurricane Milton as forecasters predict landfall in Florida this week. What does that mean? Late Wednesday or very early Thursday morning. Storm was moving at 8 miles per hour over warm waters in the Gulf of Mexico and had maximum sustained winds of 155 miles per hour. Which is, just barely almost a Category 5. Oh, did reach Category 5 on Monday. Now it's back to Category 4. Yeah, well, buckle up. If you're in the area, just buckle up. Yeah. Sarasota just flooded a month or so ago? Okay. Yeah, I saw some more video, I guess, last night from some people that are saying, talking about the next rad storm intensification. Oh, now I'm back to blurry. Sorry, guys. I don't know. It's an interpretation still. The AOD says, do not forget computer modeling made COVID an influencer. True. And there's, the computer modeling thing definitely is a red flag. For sure. Yeah, I saw some video from somebody doing I don't know. It's hard. This many storms and this many powerful storms and taken as a whole over time. Again, I wouldn't ever rule out manipulation because the technology is like, for people to say, oh, that's just stupid and ridiculous. Wow. I see people out there going, that's just silly. Please, if you're here, like the video and stuff like that. Wherever you're watching. I mean, on a warmer, world, here's how it's been explained to me. On a warmer planet, there's more evaporation, which causes more rain and stronger storms. And everything kind of slows down, and that's why the jet streams get stuck, and that's why storms get stuck. So, you could see it as manipulated weather, and if that's what you want to do. it also just looks like the planet is warmer and producing more storms. It's also what it looks like. So it's hard to tell. And pretty, we're in the age of, you can find any scientific evidence whatsoever to support whatever side of the spectrum of thought you're on. It's really not that hard. It just depends on what you want to take in and how you want to take it. But again, the best way to go about it, in my mind, is to gather all data and see which mountain stacks up higher. Oh, I see. Maybe that's why I'm so slow. You were trying to put that in one sentence, but it kept banning you. The Talibanning you. Come, Mr. Taliban. Taliban my banana. Taliban my banana. Tally my banana. That's what I was trying to go for. Anyways, there's probably more people watching than they're telling you watching. So, I mean, thanks for everybody being here. At least on YouTube. I believe Rockfin numbers. And maybe Rumble numbers. Not sure. Okay, I can't really stay here too long today, guys, because I have to finish. We're going to be working on this record right up to the end. So again, record releases at 8 p.m. tonight. There'll be a little listening party, and just go to this link and you will find the listening party. Okay. I was going to read a little bit about Are You an Anarchist? But I don't want to talk about anarchy and libertarianism and all the, just briefly. Shoot, I got lost again. Where am I? All I'm saying, if the planet were getting warmer, this is exactly what it would look like. I'm gonna have to get rid of this tab because I feel like this tab is eating up a lot of resources. So many tabs eating up so many resources. Do I need to be here? Somewhere in here. Ooh. I hate being on the internet because literally I am the most ADHD person. As soon as I see something that looks interesting to me to watch, I'm just like, ooh. And I'm just jumping around. Can I actually get to this? I'm so frustrated. Oh man, everything's in here. Sorry, y'all. Would have voted for anarchist in the last election cycle, but nobody showed up. Or are we getting a? Okay, I'm still looking blurry. I'm just trying to drop a link in this chat here. Nope, that's not it. Shoot. And it's making it really difficult for me to do that. Maybe we can do that. Okay, here's the link. And I'm going to get out of here. It's frustrating because I can't actually get in the Rumble. I can't actually chat on the Rumble Studio chat That's a little lame. Whatevs. Well, I was going to read this article about anarchisms. Chances are you have already heard something about who anarchists are and what they are supposed to believe. Let's move this over here. Did Obsolete Optics share this with me? Maybe. I think so. Something is sucking up all my resources. That's what's happening. Wherever you're watching this show on, please like the video. Let them know you've been here. Chances are almost everything you've heard is nonsense about anarchists. Many people seem to think anarchists are proponents of violence, chaos, and destruction. They are against all forms of order and organization, or that they are crazed nihilists who just want to blow up everything. And in reality, nothing could be further from the truth. Chris the Nomad says, basically, everything you've been reporting on to us for all these years is happening in real time. Got it. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. And I know it's hard for people to really take in and take on, and it's also unfashionable, and it's also like, so not cool, bro, to actually believe that climate change might be happening. It's very, it's very fashionable to be like, it's the space lasers and waves and gravity and stuff, gravity waves and stuff, and NextRad. And, all those things are actually real things that exist in the world. But also, anyways, in reality, nothing could be further from the truth. Anarchists are simply people who believe human beings are capable of behaving in a reasonable fashion without having to be forced to. Is really a very simple notion. But it's one that the rich and powerful have always found extremely dangerous. At their very simplest, anarchist beliefs turn it on two elementary assumptions. The first is that human beings are, under ordinary circumstances, about as reasonable as decent as they are allowed to be. Okay, so this is the thing. This is I don't know. This is a tough one for me. And can organize themselves in the communities without needing to be told how. The second is that power corrupts. Right. Most of all, anarchism is just a matter of having the courage to take the simple principles of common decency that we all live by and to follow them through to their logical conclusions. Odd though this may seem, in most important ways, you are probably already an anarchist. You just don't realize it. And we can go through this, but I'm not going to, because I'm not going to stay here much longer. I just wanted to. I was having a thought about anarchists, or I was reading this, and what I thought was, there is, and the idea that people paint their own morality and or belief system onto other people and situations and expect people to behave in ways that their moral compass would dictate. And what does that mean? Yes, George Robeson. Actually, dude, George, thank you for saying that. 12-step programs are functioning anarchist societies. You're right. And that is I do believe that 12-step programs are the only true I mean, I guess they could be anarchists. Are they anarchists or true? Well, maybe I thought of them as true democracies, because They don't take money. I mean, one of the things that make the 12-step program so amazing is that, and so long lasting and functioning, is that they don't take money. Money is not involved, right? They don't raise funds. They don't have extra funds. They don't have a big bank somewhere. There's not a 12-step community bank. There's not a 12-step pension fund. There's not a 12-step hedge fund. There's no money involved in it. They only raise funds enough to keep things running and keep coffee at the meetings and stuff like that. And yeah, they don't really have they have a board that makes decisions about like how to change, if they make changes to the big book or something, or they have a board that kind of decides on overarching decisions, but man, that you're right on the money, George. Yeah. And it is good. That is a good example of functioning. I don't know. I have, again, to go back to the thing I was saying about people believing, like, I do think that most people might act in honorable, right? Here's the thing about the 12-step program. It is, it's also completely voluntary. Nobody forces you in there. And if you don't take the suggestions, you could die. Right? Which I guess it's not so, it's unfortunate, right? Nobody's forcing you unless you get a court order to go to a 12-step program, but you can only be forced to go for so long. If you don't take the suggestions, and plenty of people don't, it doesn't, save everybody. Not everybody gets saved. I guess I thought of it as more of a true church, Yes, it might be a functioning anarchist society. It's also it's if there's a religion in the world that actually, operates on, practices what it preaches, it would be the 12-step program. Yeah, caffeine is a hell of a drug. That's right. But the thing is that was an interesting opening paragraph in that. It said, power corrupts. Here's what we know. Like, there have been, plenty of societies and civilizations, tribes, whatever you want to call them, who've been perfectly, well-functioning societies. And then some dude came in on a big pirate boat from Spain or wherever, and said, "Hey, how you doing? How's it going, guys?" And then all hell proceeded to commence, to break out. So, like, again, like, most people, a lot of people, but you have to have a way to kind of keep out the psychopaths, because they're there and they're also in society. And psychopaths, or whatever you want to call them, maybe that's not the correct word, but psychopaths and maladjusted people will take advantage of your, common sense and logic and niceness, and screw you over, right? Take your shit. Yeah, exactly. And our anarchists should not lock their front door, believing that everybody is, loving and full of common sense. But if the thing is that there are psychopaths out there. So what do you do? What do you do about that? Conquistadors, yes. I mean, yes, I do believe that most people operate on logic, common sense, and, common decency. Uh, I think it's the failure of so I think what I was gonna tie this into, something I've already said, multiple times, in that you need first of all, generally humans do have hierarchies. Generally. Again, the 12-step program and an AA program is a super great example of people not really being involved in having power. So there's very few examples of that kind of organization, but the AA program is one of those. But people generally, even in tribes, even in, small communities, people have people that kind of, that are more leadership oriented, that kind of guide things, right? It's a matter of keeping those leaders, having rules and ideas that will keep that power in check. That's the idea of the Constitution. The American Constitution it's built around the idea of keeping power in check, which is, you could say that idea has not been realized or carried out very well, but right, like it's part of the Constitution that, should your government become tyrannical, you're supposed to overthrow the government, and you're supposed to, take it out and start again. Um, so, and, um, let's see. Hempcar tipped me on Rockfin. Thanks, Hempcar. The hurricane reversed its path after it was seeded and made landfall in Savannah, Georgia, causing local destruction. I'm going to check this out. I've watched a couple of different videos. I'm open to the idea. I'm just not totally there yet, but thank you for the link. On a larger, like, civilizational scale, right? Or if we go back to the Gilded Age, right? The Gilded Age was brought about by the fact, people that ran had people that were in control, had power and money and influence, bought up all the new technology, or got ahead of all the new technology that was coming out, and used it to build mass fortunes, and also to completely exploit the ever living hell out of everyone, right, around them, in order to build these mass fortunes. And it was called the Gilded Age for a reason. And it was a time of great wealth disparity, huge wealth disparity. Where are we now? We're in a time of great wealth disparity. There are, data and graphs out there saying that we're in an even worse time of wealth disparity than the Gilded Age. Why are we there? A lot of people would say, well, it was new technology, and the people that took over, the people that got ahead of the internet craze or boom, people that were, got all the venture capitalists together, and, like, Silicon Valley, and however you want to say it. False. Incorrect. No. I mean, yeah, that helped give some people wealth, but, like, what happened after the Gilded Age? The Gilded Age brought on the Great Depression. The Gilded Age was the Great Depression, and there was a time after that, but, like, there was a great turmoil as well in that, the early 20th century. Around this wealth disparity, and around, like labor rights and child labor and safety in the workplace and, right, all that stuff. And how did we, what was the end result of the Great Depression and the end of the Gilded Age and this wealth disparity? What was the end result of that? Where, it was people saying, hey, like, we need some protection, we need some unions, worker solidarity, we need some regulation around the environment and around how, safety in the workplace and how things are done, how many hours somebody should be forced to work. Upton Sinclair, famous book, The Jungle, brought it, helped to bring about, he was a socialist, or communist, whatever you want to say, helped to bring about these social changes that created a more, a fairer playing field. There was also, after the Great Depression and FDR came in, there was like a 90% corporate tax rate. This might all be boring and whatnot to you, but the reason why how does anarchy have to do with this? It's just super cool. It's just such a like a hipster kind of thing. Yeah, anarchy. Yeah, super hipster. Okay, but I'm just trying to explore what it means and why people believe that it's a workable system or that it's a workable. Sure, I like anarchy. I like the idea of it. I think it's cool. I think, sure, it's cool. But is it really like, I feel like The Jungle is so good. It's a great book. Why are we in an age of great wealth? Why is everything going down the drain? Why is the economy so bad and things seem to be spiraling out of control? We seem to be heading to a serious economic cliff. Well, for the last 3 or 4 decades, there's been a slow chipping back of those, sorry, it's not really another word for it, socialist policies, socialist sentiment. Not even policies, sentiment. The people liked these policies. FDR was voted in office over and over and over again with a landslide. Like, if you ever go back and look at electoral college maps through the last century, which I have, it's very interesting. Super interesting. People used to win presidential elections in massive landslides. Like, they were super one-sided, which makes for the last couple of decades, it's been like, ooh, it's real close, 50-50. Every single election is really close and the most important election of our lifetime, right? All that stuff. And the electoral map, who's going to win? Yeah, there've been a few landslides in the last 3 or 4 decades. Landslide wins, but they used to be even more lopsided, now they say landslide over, if you just take a couple more states than the other person, it's a landslide, right? Because that's kind of how the electoral college works. It really tilts things quickly in one direction or the other. But if you go back and look at those electoral maps, you see that, some presidents were extremely popular, and FDR was one of those presidents. Why? Because he did things that helped people. Regulations, unions, social programs, welfare programs, all of these things brought about, and a lot of people will say, well, there was a war too, and that, increased productivity. Okay, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But like, you couldn't have the great prosperity that Americans enjoyed during the 50s, right? The 40s and the 50s and the 60s and into the 70s. You could not have that great prosperity that Americans enjoyed without these social programs in place that help level the playing field and help narrow the wealth disparity gap. Like, that's it. That's all I have to say. Like, that's just history and that's just fact. That's just fact. That's what happened, right? And the result of that was there was also the civil rights movement during that time, right? Which also helped to make things, slowly make things even more fair for people that really got the shorter end of the stick, right? Anyways, all I'm saying is like it's super fashionable to be libertarian these days or anarchist these days. And all that kind of stuff where they're, it's like fuck the government and down with the government and boo and everything. You can't change anything and they're all corrupt and there's nothing you can do about it. And you got to, stop engaging with the people and everything is, and yeah, that's how it feels and that's how it seems. And, but why is it that way? Why is it that way? We've lost. Okay, so there's been a big chipping away of these social programs and unions and right there was this great and this is factual too because there's evidence to back this up. The Rand Corporation and other right-wing think tanks got together and and decided that they were going to beat back these social programs. The Gilded Age people, the oligarchs, the people in power, the people with all the wealth and the power. They got together and they were like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to beat back all these policies. And one of the ways they did that was communication. Rush Limbaugh, like all these right-wing / libertarian people were like, oh, the government is bad and they do terrible things to you and they're going to steal all your money and spend it on the wrong things and you want your money back and they're going to raise taxes, right? And all of this kind of ideology, really rolled into town, into DC with Ronald Reagan. He was like, he's the classic famous right-wing / libertarian politician that came in and gutted, started the process of gutting these social programs. And then Clinton helped out too, right? Bush on through Bush, Clinton, and on and on and on. All of these protections programs, things that were put in, even through Obama, they've been cutting food stamps and they've been cutting social welfare programs and getting, it's been going down regulations that regulate the medicines, air, water, everything, right, have been being gutted or subverted or bought off or taken over, slowly but surely. And it's being allowed, right? People, because it's just a feeder system, like because it's so, the libertarian ideal is so popular and the deregulation idea is so popular and the anti-social welfare idea is so popular. Well, what you get is the gutting of these things that leveled the playing field. The pendulum has come full swing, full circle. It's come back to the Gilded Age again, because what the Rand Corporation and all these other think tanks did was say we got to convince people that this is what's good for them, and it totally works. It's why you hear like Democrats or liberals say like, why do all the poor people vote for Republicans and screw themselves over? It's because they've been convinced by whatever it is they're watching or listening to, Rush Limbaugh, and then on through, pick your poison. All of the right-wing commentators all have the same line: government bad, regulation bad, social programs bad, bad. And people are just completely brainwashed by this, to the point where even alternative media is completely taken over by this idea of gutting your own agency and how your government is run or how it is that life goes for you. Taking away, they're couching in a way that you are your own, you are the master of you don't want the government telling you what to do. You got to do it, pull yourself up by your boot. But the thing is that you can, if your wages continually go down and your social welfare net continually slips away and you're continually getting less while everything is, all inflation is going up, well, then it's really hard to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And if rent is going up and the house prices are going up, everything is going, so astronomically high that there's no way you can keep up with it. That's what these social programs and regulations were there to, as a stopgap. Like you can't, you know, and then the rules around monopolies and media monopolies and all these things have been gutted. Bankruptcy laws have been gutted. Right? Your social protections have been going away, and everybody's wondering, like, why is everything so bad? And every alternative social media person is out there going anarchy and libertarianism and like don't have any agency in like okay, if you have the resources to live on your own terms and just do whatever you want, yeah, okay, seems like an easy thing to do. But getting those resources is becoming much, much harder. And the ability for these corporations and banks and the government, now that the government is completely taken over and corrupt, the ability for them to snatch all your resources is way easier. Why? Because you allowed less regulation, less taxes, less revenue, less ability to demand that the government act in appropriate ways, demand that the government put in some social safety net, some kind of stopgap measures that holds back the tide of the people that own everything owning literally everything. Yes, Joe Biden was responsible for the bank. That's exactly right. It's just, I'm just a broken record. I've said this before. Your agency, your agency and what is going on in the world has been slowly eroded, and it's still being eroded by, the very people that you listen to all the time on alternative media, constantly saying like, they're not going to do anything. You got to do it all yourself, and you got to, okay. But if they're passing laws that don't allow you to, grow your own food, if they're passing how are you going to stop all this? You're not going to move out of the way. You're going to have to confront it. You're going to have to confront. Eventually, you're going to. I'm waiting for the pendulum to go back the other way. I don't know when that's going to happen. It's going to have to get real bad and real painful. Eventually, people are going to realize, like, okay, shit, damn, this is bad. Like, this is really bad. Like, we're in a lot of pain. Okay, uncle. Okay, what are you going to do? You're going to have to confront the power that's doing this to you. And you're going to have to insist that the power change or go away. And then you're going to have to create another, something in its place. But again, the psychopath, to go back to the analogy of like, a real peaceful civilizations just minding their own business and doing their things, and the psychopath comes up on the ship. What are you going to do? You're going to have to beat that ship back. You're going to have to beat those psychopaths back somehow. And the only way to do that is to get together and organize for something better, And what that organization looks like is going to be called socialism, Sorry, Jimbo, alternative reporter. It's called socialism. It's called freaking socialism, or democratic socialism, or I don't know what it's called. Communism, socialism, democratic socialism, something where things are set up that protect people and their rights to bargain, to not get all of their wages stolen from the billionaire class, or to have regulations in place that actually uphold your civil rights, or uphold your rights of free speech, uphold your right, right? To have public institutions that just are supposed to be there to do something. They might not run, they might be a little wonky, they might be a little creaky, but you're not giving all your power away to the private, public private partnership, right? Because the more things go into the hands of the private area, the more you're going to get fucked over. And this idea that they're going to do it better is like so dumb, because we've already been through that. Jesus Christ. That's, I don't know. I don't know how to tell people that they're absolute freaking morons, and you're a moron for listening to this stuff and believing it. Sorry to tell you that, but if you believe this stuff, you're a freaking moron. We've already been through this. We've already been in a space where there were no regulations. Everything was owned, everything was a private entity, and they did things for profit. And what happens is people get absolutely run through a meat grinder, and your children do too. And like, if you think they're going to do it better, you are a moron. We've already been through this. So the only way to get that back is to insist that the government take back these things from the private sector and take control over them. If you think that a private, like, for-profit, like, police department or fire department is going to be good for you, you are a fucking moron. You are an absolute dyed-in-the-wool idiot, because it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry I'm getting, angry and calling people morons, but you're fucking morons. I mean, I don't know what else to fucking say. You're too dumb to fucking figure it out. But like, it's just, you're going to have some kind of like social agreements that, help the regular person and beat back the power of the powerful. That's called socialism. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what to tell you. But the whole and I feel, in some ways, like, okay, the idea of anarchism sounds super cool. Sounds great. But it's kind of in that, libertarianism vein. It's kind of in the vein of like, no, dude, we just want less to do with these people over here, and we're just going to go live our lives over here and just make it happen all by ourselves, and they're not going to encroach on us. Bullshit. They're going to encroach on you, and you're going to have to figure out a way to beat that shit back. And the only way to beat that shit back is to organize and get people together. But nobody's going to hear this, and nobody's going to really like take this seriously until you're really in pain, until people are really in pain, and they're going to be like, oh, you know what we should do? Anyways. All right. Corporations are not private entities. Okay. Well, whatever they are, they need to be beaten back, John Glad, or whatever you want to call them. All right, anyways, I've gone too long. I'll see you guys tonight at 8 if you want to go to my Bandcamp page. And thanks for listening. If you want to support the show, there's ways to support the show. In the description box, there's lots of direct donate links. Thanks for listening to my ranting, my raving. You may not agree with me. And I according to your beliefs, I may have called you a moron, but I'm sorry about that. Get it together. That's all I gotta say. Just get it the fuck together. All right, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 11. And until next time. Somewhere I can find these buttons, I promise. Until next time. Peace. piece.